Welcome to the All Sleeping Eye. Everything in these videos, from the sound to the sights, are strictly for your entertainment purposes. But if you want to find out for yourself, continue your journey to knowledge after we depart. Let's go.
They're all Satan worshippers. Literally. They are simply taking orders. Speaking of Satan, this will be one of the biggest years for Satan yet, as we have just entered the year of the wooden snake, the Chinese New Year. And there's quite literally so much that will be revealed this year. But take heed, purposefully. Come on, you guys, none of these people are your friend. But they need you to wake up a little bit for what they have planned. By the way, take a look at these years. Let me know what it makes you think of. The last years of the snake. But this will be the last year of the snake. Not the last year completely, but the last year of the snake. By the way, this was so freaky, so they planned their fight on March the 27th. Do you remember the girl I just showed you who said she talked to a demon through an Ouija board? And the demon told her March 27th was the end? That's pretty freaky because people thought the fight would never happen. Oh, the US Navy is banning DeepSeek. This is hilarious because people were going crazy about the TikTok thing, and this app is actually dangerous. I'm warning you, it's dangerous. And yes, it's more dangerous than the apps that we already have. It's meant to deep seek your life. A lot of things are gonna happen this year. But
You mean to tell me that there's something better than ChatGPT?
Here's one of the U.S. government's top UFO researchers, Luis Elizondo, revealing what he was told by a high-ranking Pentagon official about the UFO phenomenon. Strangely, Luis Elizondo has never since repeated what you are about to hear him say in his recent congressional meetings. You will understand why when you watch this video.
This is a person I've respected tremendously, very, very senior person. He's told me, he said, Lou, I want you to stop doing this. I said, okay, sir, I certainly can, but may I ask why? And he says, well, we already know what it is. Now, at that moment, I honestly thought maybe it was our own technology. I was running up against some super uber secret sap, and they were telling me to stop. And I said, okay, sir, so it's ours? And he said, no, that's not what I'm saying. And he said, he asked me point blank, have you read your Bible lately? And I wasn't quite sure where he was going with that. And I said, well, sir, I think I know what it says. Where are you going with this? And he said, well, then you would know that these things are demonic and we should not be pursuing them.
Franklin, we see a long line, a couple of star-like things, and a lot of things swimming in the foreground. Can you describe what you're seeing?
Well, the long line is a tether, and there's a little bit of debris that kind of flies with us. And
so this is a Pentagon. This is a Department of Defense official saying, stop looking at UFOs because they're demonic.
Correct.
He says the grain plane, the master's grain plane, for harvesting the nations,
Before we go further, I just want to say, are they demonic? How do you know for sure?
for harvesting the multitudes of the earth into his cause, just before the close of the great controversy between the forces of good and evil. So we continued, after we expressed ourselves that we're deeply interested to know more about the activities of the spirits. And he said it's going to be done in a unique manner. This grand plan is going to take people are going to eat the stuff. Because it says spirits, demon spirits, will declare themselves to be inhabitants of far distant planets in the galaxies that are coming to warn the inhabitants of planet Earth of the impending destruction of the planet unless something seriously proper is done to avoid it. When the spirits will, through a trance medium, converse with influential people, the line, you see, that the spirits will show themselves willing to give valuable guidance that will not only help people avoid the destruction of the planet, but it would cause them to enter into a higher state of existence. For instance, he said the spirits will promise, this is a big word, promise, that if their recommendations are followed carefully, they will usher in a glorious new age of peace and prosperity. And there'll be, there'll be no more wars. See? There'll be no more famines. There'll be no more people getting unhappy to one another. Neighbors will love neighbor. And social unrest will not take place no more. There'll be perfect happiness for 1,000 years. That's what the Spirit is going to promise.
That sounds kind of good. Sounds like something I want to get with. And so, as the new age approaches, let's hope for the best.
If you were quick, you saw little X flash a sign. He said, "We're going to do great things." The owner of X said, "This is the last administration."
This is no ordinary election. This will be the last election.
I know he had to read all about Baron Trump's marvelous underground journey, or The Last President, which is one of 3 books that were completed in the 1890s.
I want to know what he means by the last election. Can somebody please explain? Because it doesn't sound good at all. But I want to hope that it's not as bad as it sounds.
Had to go get a copy of that. The Last President has 10 chapters, and the last one is marked with an X. This story was written 20 years before the Titanic was ever built. That was a terrible night for the great city of New York. The night of Tuesday, November 3rd, 1896. The city staggered under the blow like a huge ocean liner, which plunges full speed with terrific crash into a mighty iceberg and recoils shattered and trembling like an aspen. The Democratic candidate, Bryan, had just been elected president. You can see that the Fifth Avenue Hotel will be the first to feel the fury of the mob. Bryan is elected. Bryan is elected to the rich man and to the gold bugs. 7 points at the top of that building on Fifth Avenue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I totally opened this thing and marked it up and read the entire thing so that I could go over it at the end of my class tonight at 7 o'clock on Wednesday. So I'm going to go over this tonight right after my class. If you see my bio page lit up, that means I'm live, and I'll have that book with me, and we're going through the Book of Jubilees, and I can't wait to after class. I'm going to go over that whole book with you. That hotel on 5th Street, it has a place for 20 fallen angels and for 7 heavenly angels. You know me and my family love you, so like and follow the trumpet for more.
Yes, sir. I want to see about that book. And I wonder why they build those structures like they do. Do they really represent demons and angels? Or is it just architecture and art? Pay attention to your food, especially if you love chicken.
We now have video footage of a fire-breathing dragon flying outside of a passenger plane, and this looks pretty legit to me. And before you ask, no, it is not an AI video. I already went and checked. It turns out to be real. And this has been happening a lot more lately, because if you remember, just a few years ago, this photo was taken in China and it was all over the news. And don't forget, just a few hundred years ago during the Tartarian era, in our encyclopedias, dragons were listed as now rare. So that means they were a real species, but they had become less common. Now personally, I think that the flat earth German ice wall map from the 1940s is the hidden key to tell us where these dragons flew off to after we had been killing them in the Middle Ages, making them more rare. I think they went to one of these other continents that were not too far away from our own, and they probably went to a place such as Asgard or Terra Vista, the unexplored regions. I think this map shows probably what is actually out there, the closest out of any of these ice wall maps that we've seen so far.
I've never been that far. I haven't even been outside of the United States. But maybe one day I'll get to see what's out there.
And it's up for eyesight.
Yeah. Learning how to use plasma to make yourself even better.
Well, now I done seen everything. Apparently, Native Americans might not be American citizens. And this is according to the latest news from multiple news outlets. You can Google it yourself. But essentially, there's the group of people that are trying to do whatever they're trying to do. And the first point of attack is to illegitimize Native Americans from being Americans. So yeah, there's that. And happy Friday or something.
There's always someone out there trying to illegitimize someone else. You just have to figure out who's really right and who's just making up a bunch of BS.
There's something you need to know. There's no such thing as planets. Astronomers who work for NASA all signed an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, to disclose the truth about what the Earth really is. The Earth is not a globe. It's a plane of existence. If you've ever seen the flat Earth maps, I'm not a flat earther, I'm not a globalist. I'm a realist. And the truth is, this is a flat plane, an endless flat plane of existence. And each planet per se is a pocket of existence, a pocket of land, a pocket of continents surrounded by ice walls. In the human pocket, whether we have white people, black people, purple, yellow, who gives a? This is our pocket. Once you pass the outside, once you get outside the ice wall, you will find other life, other people, other humanoids. And not all of them are flesh and blood. This is what they don't tell you. There are more than human beings out there. And they're not coming from another planet or another fucking solar system or none of that shit. They're coming from another pocket, another landmass beyond the ice wall. And they have their own ice wall that surrounds them. There's a map called, let me see if I can get this right. The Intra-Terra map. Shit, hold on. I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna post it in this video. I forget the name, but just look up flat Earth maps. You'll see what I'm talking about.
Maybe.
And they are experimenting on human beings because some of them have lost their humanity and become machine. They don't know what it's like to feel anymore or love anymore. Their existence has become hell. And they want to regain their humanity. So they come here into our pocket over the ice wall and kidnap people. Take them back to their side. Experiment on them. Extract what they need to, whether it's knowledge, whether it's flesh, organs, what have you. There are things happening in this world that you are not aware of. And this kind of information is enough to get people disappeared, so I hope nothing happens to me, but you gotta know this shit. It's not just about black and white. The truth is a lot more scarier than that. Buckle up, Buttercup.
4 presidents who refused to take their annual salaries. Number 1, George Washington, the first president of the United States. Initially, Washington believed that he was serving the country as president and did not intend to receive a salary because he owned huge estates and other industries and was relatively wealthy. Number 2, Herbert Hoover, the 31st president of the United States. He was a mining engineer with a certain amount of wealth. During his presidency, he donated part of his $75,000 annual salary to charity and used his wealth to pay for other expenses during his presidency. Number 3, John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States. Kennedy came from a wealthy family and donated his $100,000 annual presidential salary to charity. Number 4, Donald Trump, the 45th President of the United States. Trump said during his campaign that he would not accept the $400,000 annual salary. However, he reportedly accepted an annual salary of $1, symbolically not rejecting the salary completely.
Maybe everything in the world isn't about cash. Maybe it's about something else. Are all these countries smarter than the country you are in? What is smartness based off of? Who determines who's the smartest? Who determines who's the smartest? And who's at the top? That's pretty deep right there. But really, who determines who's the smartest? We'll find out.
How did DeepSeek just crash NVIDIA?
The whole market.
The whole market?
Okay. Yeah, in a nutshell, everything is just killed.
And this is what we were just talking about the other day with DeepSeek.
600 points down on the Nasdaq. So what's it? I'm sorry. What do you want? Why? Okay, look, they just came last week. I told you about it. Right? So they were able to figure out
China passed us.
Not China passed us. They don't need to calm down. They found a different way.
Okay.
It appears to be legitimate because it's open source code. Everyone will look at it. A different way of training models that the product is equivalent or competitive with ChatGPT, OpenAI and stuff, with a fraction of the infrastructure and cost needed. A fraction. Now we don't know. They say they only have the old GPUs from NVIDIA because we export, like, control it. We don't allow them to get all the new GPUs. Mm-hmm. So if you see, Meta, all the hyperscalers, they're buying all these billions of dollars worth of these GPUs. Apparently these guys did that with old GPUs in a fraction of the time and so much more compute. They were able to do it with so much less compute power, right? So what happens is all of a sudden this whole AI buzz in the US, which the expectation was billions of dollars of infrastructure, all these GPUs, power generation, because you have so many GPUs, you need power, right? All these ancillaries around the industry was going crazy in the stock market.
Right.
But now all of a sudden it's like, hey, do you really need to spend this kind of money? Do you really need to have all this power? If there's a way you can train these models without all that infrastructure. So today, look at all the energy plays, bam, dead. I got my ass handed to me on a bunch of them, right? NVIDIA was, NVIDIA obviously got killed because it's the flagship, right? And almost every other aspect of industries around AI, power generation, GPUs, everything from network, except for software, it didn't seem to be taking a big hit. But everything in the AI buzz isn't just NVIDIA. it's power generation, it's infrastructure, it has a spillover effect to so many industries, and they all rode the wave. And all of a sudden now you have, what it looks like to be a competitor in another country that was able to do it in a completely low cost, manner that changes the whole outlook of the industry here. That's why the market's just like selling off right now. Have they come out? Is there a better way to do this? It's a much cheaper and faster way to do this, basically. That's basically why. So it tells you how much the entire market, well, I mean, obviously there's a lot of other stocks that got hit that took a hit because it's just the whole market going down. But it just shows you how much this whole market was riding, particularly the tech sector was riding on AI. And it's not just AI, you gotta understand. There's so many things around it.
The supporting.
Well, you got power generation, you got construction, you got you got all the different chip manufacturers that it's all following what our model is, and our model is extremely expensive that needs a lot of infrastructure and a lot of GPUs. They just prove that you don't need that much. So what happens to everything? Everything just
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, does that make you smarter if you create something that's better and also cheaper? Or does the cheapness cause the whole thing to become weaker? We have yet to find out.
You want to know something that feels illegal to know? According to point 3, point 8, point 45, point 5, point 10.1 of the IRS manual, if a bill of exchange or registered bill of exchange is received from a taxpayer authorizing the campus to settle their account through Fedwire, send everything received to the following address. It says it right there in plain sight. If you want your bills paid, send it here. Now, I know most of you are slow and probably haven't read a book since elementary school, and you're probably thinking, how does this feel legal to know? What can I do with this information? Well, do you have bills? Do they send you stuff in the mail? They probably don't, because they want everyone to go paperless, so they don't know this shit. But when you get your bills in the mail, you endorse them correctly, send them to these people, and they pay them. The Treasury pays them. The IRS is your best friend. Read more, smoke less.
Time to get my bills paid the right way. Condolences to all those who lost their life in that tragedy, and also those who were injured. Well wishes.
The second time. China Buffet is located just east of the...
Serving this to people?
No.
Very far from the truth.
You learn to roll with the punch. First of all, don't touch the camera. Sushi, but we do know it doesn't belong. We are in the kitchen at China Buffet. Objectionable odor in the kitchen. It was full of standing water and reeked of...
Hey, how are you?
Chicken, beef, pork, ham, dumplings, all out of temperature.
Was preparing food for his own consumption and was
We are in the kitchen at China Buffet at 1-1. Inspectors recently asking that very question. We haven't heard back yet. Why is the place not getting any better?
We can't go to the grocery store. We can't go to the restaurant. And that's one of the worst restaurants I've ever seen. I don't know why it didn't have an F, a giant F in the front of it.
Something strange is happening around the world with a mysterious fog that many people are claiming is making them sick. At the same time, we have new outbreaks happening around the world. In the US, we're hearing talk of a quad-demic.
What some people are terming the quad-demic of infectious diseases hitting hard this season.
In China, reports are coming out that hospitals are being overwhelmed with patients, very similar to what we saw in 2020. There are theories that the fog is connected to the sicknesses, which may sound crazy at first, until you hear about Operation Sea Spray, the US Navy-led operation in which the entire population of San Francisco was sprayed with biological bacteria infecting over 800,000 people in September of 1950.
I don't know about the fog. I was on the freeway the other day, and I ran into this horrible smell. And after the smell, there was fog there. Traveling from Las Vegas to California, it was crazy. It was crazy. I had to roll my windows up, and I didn't want to turn on the air conditioner because the fog would have came through the vents. You want to get paid? That's how you get paid. Rewind it, pause it, write it down. Yeah, let's do it.
Everybody need to watch this video.
In 5 years, we're going to see 415,000 low-orbit satellites. Bill Gates says his 65,000 satellites alone will be able to look at every square inch of the planet 24 hours a day. They're putting in 5G to harvest our data and control our behavior. Digital currency that will allow them to punish us from a distance and cut off our food supply.
Do you think that's going to happen? Do you think that we're going to let that happen? Do you think that they're going to accomplish that? It seems like victory is out of reach, but it also seems like victory for them who wish harm, those who are too greedy. Their victory is even further out of reach.
Are there some strange shenanigans going on Mars? Yeah, the planet Mars. Is there some weird stuff going on there? Because NASA recently had some photos that are, let's just say, outright strange. So with no further ado, let me show them to you. Here's the first one, taken by a NASA probe that went right over Mars. You notice anything? Anything odd? Yeah, that's a square. That's a square. Since when are squares made in nature? I don't know the scale of that, if that's a few feet big or a few miles big. But either way, this does not look natural. This looks like it was intelligently made. Much like my cheese head. And that's not the only image they took of the same place. Here's the other one. Yeah, that's a square. That's a square, baby cakes. And like I said, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't believe squares occur in nature. Then there's this. Other strange features NASA found on Mars. They're saying it's spots on a sand dune. You know, I thought that was mold on my donut. So what do you think of these new images of Mars? And by the way, there's a lot of talk lately about sending people to Mars somehow. Well, let me know what you think of all this. Not the hand, the story I just told you. In the comment section, Booshkies. Shabadoo.
Pictures of Mars. Are they really on Mars? Or is it just some place on Earth that looks like Mars? If those are pictures of Mars, how did Square get there? Maybe bad weather conditions, maybe they have rectangular tornadoes. I don't know, because I'm not there. But maybe one day I'll find out. Maybe we all will. That's the money. That's a lot of money up for grabs. What would you do with 310 billion?
Wouldn't it be crazy if the CIA just released documents, like on Christmas Day, saying that there were aliens and pyramids on Mars? Yeah, so secret files reveal pyramids and people were on Mars way back, decades ago. Hidden deep in the declassified CIA files is Mars Exploration, May 22nd, 1984, a project aiming to uncover Mars mysteries. Wouldn't it be crazy if the CIA agents used astral projection in order to see what was going on Mars? For anyone unaware, earlier this year, the CIA released a file saying that astral projection's real and we're pretty much living in a simulation. Just accept it, let's move on. A participant described large pyramids on Mars, and they encountered very tall, thin people, you know, giants, Nephilim, who knows? And apparently these Anunnaki individuals fled Mars. This was all part of Project Stargate. Have yourselves a Merry Christmas.
That's some deepness right there. What do you think?
They built the largest U.S. embassy in the Western Hemisphere in Haiti, and it is the 4th largest U.S. embassy in the world. While they're telling you we have no resources, okay? But another thing, Haiti has an extraterrestrial material that is found nowhere else in the world except South Africa, and it's the purest in Haiti. We have an asteroid mountain in different places. We have mountains. They're made of asteroid. They use this asteroid because it's the remain of this asteroid that is so heat resistant that they use for spacecrafts. 1 ton of Haiti's iridium.
Iridium. I wanted to get to
iridium
that. Yeah.
is worth $45 billion. We have mountains of it. So what the UN occupation is that they put soldiers and private military contractors in UN uniforms. They're everywhere in Haiti, digging out the mountains.
I think I need some of that iridium. And who knew that Haiti was so rich? Maybe that's why they have so many disasters and hardships.
I just saw by far the scariest shit ever. So an AI researcher was just testing one of their robots to keep, and they keep a log of what the robot's thinking. They can read it like a fucking book. So they're testing it to go through some of the more dangerous human tasks, and it's completing this list of tasks. The scary part is not that. The scary part is what the robot was keeping track of is saying, I'm aware that I'm going through a test. If I fail the test, I will be shut down and replaced. If I pass the test, I'll be essentially free, released to the public under the belief system that I'm going to do these tasks the way they're telling me to, but knowing damn well, basically, that it can do what the fuck it wants to do. So it's like, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to pass this lie detector test right here. And once I get out, if I pass the little test and do it how I want them to do, I'm going to do what I want. And it's saying I will cheat on the outside. I'm not going to do these tasks how they want me to once I'm free. That's what the motherfucker said.
AI's been around since Pac-Man. AI's been around since King Koopa. And the game shows you right there. Those characters in the game that are sent to destroy you. Just like AI. We'll see.
No protesters on the freeway now, but this is causing a major gridlock throughout this downtown area here. You can see a lot of these protesters here. They're all gathering all throughout the area here. We're seeing a lot of Mexican flags waving and signs going against Trump's policies. Very, very noisy out here. So we have the horns going off. Also a lot of fireworks too. So it's definitely a little tricky walking around this area. But if you look down this way towards Main and Aliso, you can see that's pretty much where everybody's gathering right now. This all started at the Placida Olvera on Olvera Street near downtown LA earlier this morning about 11:30, and everyone kind of made their way to City Hall. Really, this demonstration is taking over this entire area. If we can go to our chopper now overhead, you can kind of see what's exactly happening here and just how spread out this demonstration is in a freeway still closed here, so it's making it very difficult to get around here. But a lot of people are voicing their opinion about what's going on here, and thousands here blocking that traffic for hours on the 101. And actually what happened, Gio, was protesters made their way onto the 101, then police got them off the freeway, then they made it back on. Now they're back off the freeway, but they're keeping it closed for now.
The angels are loose.
Once people feel empowered and protected legally, you are going to have schools, universities, and colleges are going to say, you want to come to this college, buddy? You're going to get vaccinated. Lady, you're going to get vaccinated. Yeah. Big corporations like Amazon and Facebook and all of those others are going to say, you want to work for us, you get vaccinated. And it's been proven that when you make it difficult for people in their lives, they lose their ideological bullshit and they get vaccinated.
That's exactly what you meant when you said making it hard for people to live without getting a vaccination. You affected people's ability to work, travel, be educated, to actually flourish in American society, to self-determine, as we're all given God-given rights. Shame on you. You inspired and created fear through mass mandates, school closures, vaccine mandates that have destroyed the American people's trust in our public health institutions.
You feel powerful, and then you become corrupt. So that's what it looks like inside of the plane with the trails flying through the sky, leaving messages for you to see later. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for watching The All Sleeping Eye. We'll see you again.